Here's another one. MSNBC host defends liberals who trust Obama with drones.
That's going to be the one.
Would you trust Bush with nuclear codes?
There is something about this drone debate, though, that is driving me nuts. And that is the charge, mostly by Republicans, that if you feel any different about the drone program under President Obama than you would have under George W. Bush, you are an utter, hopeless hypocrite. Let me ask you a question. How would you feel about a Madeleine Albright panel on women and body image? Okay. Now how do you feel about the Larry Flint panel on women and body image? How do you feel about your kid in Dr. Ruth's sex ed class versus Todd Akins? Do you feel different about Warren Buffett penning standards for financial ethics versus Bernie Madoff? Of course you do, because you're normal. But according to the Republican logic used during this drone debate, if you feel any different about the Madeleine Albright and Larry Flint panels, you are a hypocrite. Look, I voted for President Obama because I trust his values and his judgment, and I believe that he's a fundamentally responsible actor. Without gratuitously slamming next President Bush, I think he displayed extraordinary lapses in judgment in executing his primary responsibility as Commander-in-Chief and put troops in harm's way imprudently. President Obama would have exercised better judgment, and he has exercised better judgment. The way it stands now, the drone program is exclusively within the domain of the executive. Their protocol, their judgment. So yeah, I feel a whole lot better about the program when the decider, so to speak, is President Obama. It's not to say that, again, the process shouldn't be codified, that there shouldn't be oversight. But really, is our standard so low that we would only grant powers to the executive that we would trust in the hands of a man who misled the nation to get us into a war we never should have been involved in? What would George W. Bush do? That's our standard? We would never allow a power to the presidency that we wouldn't feel comfortable giving to George W. Bush? I think we can raise the bar a bit from that. And just for a little perspective, let's keep in mind that the president does have the unilateral power to drop nuclear bombs and destroy the entire planet. Do you feel the same?
Do these people understand that, like, a presidential administration they must, because anyone who's over 4 years old know that one presidential administration is not like a permanent fixed point in time. Like, I remember when Bush was president, and I was saying to conservatives, do you know how terrified you're going to be when some liberal has all this power?
Right.
So, like, are these people for real?
No. They did experience a cognitive dissonance, right? So then what they had to do to make that go away is go down this lady's road to say, yeah, it's not the ideas I care about at all. It's just the people. I like this guy better than the other guy.
So to us, she's admitting that she has no principles.
Right.
Okay. But it's not like overnight. The change is not immediate. They walk this stuff over kind of gradually. So now, through all of these other interventions in the Middle East that move away from the Bush policy in Iraq to like Libya and Egypt, now this becomes, through their reporting, through their talking point, or through their just reading of White House press releases, whatever the hell they do at MSNBC, this has become a noble pursuit. And it's been distanced over 4 years, even though it's exactly the same policies. In principle, morally, ethically, it's the same shit, right? They've distanced themselves enough, and I think this is by design. I think this is the propaganda. And now they can actually say that flying killer robots is cool. When this woman and people who watch this show very well could have been in an anti-war protest 5 years ago.
No, and what she's saying is very similar to something I might say. Like, I think flying killer robots are cool too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want government people to have them.
I like Kokesh's
I don't mind if I have them. And I don't mind if you have them.
Taco Bell.
I don't mind if... Yeah, exactly. I want the flying burrito in my hand.
What I want to do is I want it to be armed, and I want I want a flying killer robot. And what I'm going to use it for is I'm going to follow the Taco Bell copter.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And this will be kind of like a PSA, a flying PSA, like they have at the beach now with the banners behind the little prop planes.
Mm-hmm.
I shoot people's food out of the sky. And I say, it's not good for you. Here's your $9 back. Go on with a more serious.
Imagine this. You've got a gated subdivision.
Okay.
And say you want to opt out of your local police force. Say, hey, no police allowed in here. Mm-hmm. Instead, I'm just going to fly this drone up in here.
Yeah.
And the drone's going to have sensors on it that detect screams, gunshots, shit like that you might want to notice.
Yeah.
And it's going to zoom over with its video camera, and it's going to film what's going on when it hears those things. And it's going to send text alerts to everyone in the neighborhood, and they're going to come over with their shotguns.
I hear they crash a lot right now.
Yeah, that could happen. You could mount them on like helium balloons or some kind of like balloon instead of being a predator drone that flies around and shoots missiles and stuff. It's just a little floaty balloon thing.
You could have a mooring post for it.
Yeah,
like they had for the dirigibles.
Anyway, so how cheap would that be compared to like paying police?
Yeah.
And how much less will that get you killed?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If you're just joining us, Osborne and I are now real into drones.
Don't be a bad boy, Johnny.